Well, you managed to get the system booted, and this is what you will get. The start screen. This is your new start screen. Looks quite different to the start screen that you were getting in Windows 7. And those boxes here, somebody calls them Playmobil icons. They are actually no icons, they are called tiles. And each tile is an application. This is a mail application, this is a weather application, this is a desktop, which is an application. Photo application doesn't work very well yet, messaging doesn't work either. Some of those new applications that were actually are actually shown here have not yet been completed. Let's not forget this is a developer preview, and so it is not amazing that they are not completed, but they will be completed. So what do? First thing, you put some order in here. So the applications you don't want, you just right click on, and right click is always a good bet in Windows 8. Then you can unpin them here. You can unpin them, you can also uninstall them, but that I wouldn't recommend. So let's just unpin this one. People application, don't even know what that is. Here you have another option. These tiles that are quite large, you can actually make smaller. So if you click on here, it should work, yes. It made the application tile smaller. But we don't want that either.
So we'll just delete it. Messaging will just delete, etc. Now we could delete all of those applications that don't work, but some work, some are nice. For example, the weather application is pretty nice. So let's see whether it shows our weather here. It shows nothing. Yeah, there it is. Here we have the weather of Spring Hill. That's where I am currently. And it's currently 68 degrees, which is pretty nice in the middle of the night. And tomorrow will be warm, 86, etc., etc. So that's the weather application. If you want to get back to the start menu, the easiest is to just press the start key. Okay, now if you want to add applications here, deleting, as I said, you can delete them easily by right-clicking and unpinning them. If you want to add something, actually this one is I already added, because this is the recording program that I'm using. You right-click on a free space in the start menu, and you get all apps. That corresponds to all programs in Windows 7, and here are the programs. So let's say, for example, I wanted Paint, so I can pin it to the start menu. I can also pin it to the taskbar on the desktop. We haven't been to the desktop yet, but there is a taskbar like you had in Windows 7, but right now we are working with the start menu, so I'll pin it to the start menu. And the notepad, maybe I right click, always right click, and pin it to the start menu. And what else do we want here? Sticky notes, maybe not. Oh, computer, that's a good one. So we put that on, and so on and so forth. So you see, you have what used to be in all programs, you have in the so-called apps here, and you can easily put these applications either to the start menu, or you can also unpin them if they are pinned. You can open them in a new window. You can run as administrator. Now that would only be interesting for programs like Command Prompt. Or you can open the file location. That's pretty interesting. You can open the file location, and here is the file location of Snipping Tool. And here also, if you want, you can pin them to start. That's an option to do from that particular place. Okay. So let's just go back for a minute to all apps. So here are all the apps.
This is the one I just oh, it is already installed, so I could unpin it from start if I wanted. I can pin it to the taskbar. Maybe that's a good idea. Okay, so much for those. So now the new apps, they have they always end up in the last group. These are groups here, and I'll show you later what you do with these groups. You can move them around. For example, if I wanted this paint program in this group here, I can move it here. Or if I wanted computer in a new group, I move it to the right, and see there is kind of a bar here that would separate it and put it in a new group. And let me just put this here so that we have a second one. Okay, so much for manipulating the start menu. And as I said, in Xbox, will I ever use Xbox? Of course not, so I'll unpin it. And the ones that you don't want this big, well, you just make them smaller. As I said, many of these applications don't work. Here's an Explorer. That's an interesting one. The Explorer that you would start from here would be Explorer 10, but this is the tablet version. The one you start from the desktop is Explorer 10, but the usual version, which is very similar to Explorer 9 or Explorer 8 that they're used to, but the one that is Explorer 10 tablet version looks very different. Just see, that's how it looks like. It's very different. And again, if you right click, you get things. Well, it shows you that this window is open. Now if more windows were open, they would show up here. And then if you go, like for example, to the plus sign, it shows you frequently used and pinned. And pinning is also one of these things. If I wanted to pin something from Explorer, I would have to pin it to the start menu again. So that corresponds a little bit to the favorites in Explorer. But if you have a lot of favorites like me, I have over 1500, that would be very heavy-handed on the start menu, so I don't think you want to do that. But for tablets, that may be the right way to do. Okay, so much as a basic introduction to the start menu and to all apps.